Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, hello. Today, good afternoon, everyone. Today, discuss about that respiratory systems. It is called as the name as gas exchanges. So, respiratory systems. Why do we breathe? Think of all the reasons why we need a respiratory systems. So respiratory systems is very necessary to all alive animals like that animals and plants also. So the terminology of respiration is used in several different ways. The the cellular respiration is the aerobic breakdown of glucose in the mitochondria to make ATP. What is the ATP? ATP is adenose triphosphate. ATP is adenose triphosphate. Then respiratory systems are the organs in animals that exchange gases with the environment. The respiration is an everyday term that uh, the often used would mean the breathing. What is the meaning? Breathing. The respiratory system's functions. The respiratory system's functions to the mainly respiratory systems allow animals to move oxygen needed for a cellular respiration into body tissues and remove carbon dioxide waste production of cellular respiration. So from cell, the respiratory systems allow animals to move oxygen into body tissues and from cell and remove carbon dioxide from cells. It is the name of the respiratory functions. Then gases exchanges by diffusion. This is the mainly important too. Some animals simply allow gases to diffuse through their skins. Those animals have a low metabolic rate. Why? All of those are aquatic animals. Why? Earthworms like that, earthworm and flatworm, jellyfish, some type of fishes. So see the specialized structures of aquatic animals. Aquatic animals respiration by uh, two special structures. The structures specialized for gas exchanges include the water flow mouth, and the bony flap operculum. It is the name of Bony flaps name is operculum. Then thin folder of tissues. It is called as gills. Bony supports operculum removed. So gills, aquatic animals only respiratory organs called as the gills. The spiracles, terrestrial insects. Spiracles, the name of terrestrial insects. The lungs, most terrestrial vertebrates, the functions respiratory depend by the special organs. Then next one, the counter current exchanges. What is a counter current exchanges? Nothing but it is a see observe this one structures like that to 50-50 ratio. It is the commencement of 25 gives to and minus 75. 75 plus 25 equal 100. So this is the 50-50 100. This is a counter current. In a counter current system exchanges in inefficient equilibrium is reached at one need. In a counter current counter current mechanism to reach out, to the particular ways to in counter current systems equilibrium into reached, so gas exchanges quantities increasing efficiency. So this is the counter current exchanges and counter current exchanges. Concurrent exchanges, counter current exchanges, nothing but it between difference to this is the 100 ratio, this is the 80 ratio. So in a concurrent system, exchange is inefficient equilibrium of reached to one end. This is the counter current is the in a counter current system equilibrium is not reached, so gas exchanges count is increasing efficiency. So this is the difference between counter current and concurrent differences. Then see the fish gills. The fish gills are it is the fish are brackish water, marine water, fresh water. It is living mode in water only. So water animals respiration organs are called as gills. The fish increases gases exchanges efficiency using counter current exchanges like that gills archae, laminals, and gill forms. So this is the gill structure of fish. Then, so this is the lamellae running blood through the system in the opposite direction to water keeps a diffusion sorry diffusion guaranteed throughout the enteric exchanges. So this is a particular to uh, particular to this is the very important. So next one, next one. See uh, some needs of like that to internal functions, abductions of internal functions, water flows. This is the water flow, blood flow, and lamellae, oxygenated blood. This is the capillaries and a deoxygenated blood. This is the deoxygenated blood through outside and inside of oxygen blood. So see this arrow marks observely. It is the inside of oxygen and outside the gases release of carbon dioxide. This is the very understanding to the how to gases exchanges in cell to outside to inside. See See, this is one gills exchanges gases to gills exchanges gases in fish. What is the site of gas exchanges in mammals? So very important. The human beings are mammals. Gas exchanges in place of alveoli. The trachea's bronchi Esophagus is the very important to the learnings of the particular parts. Why are gills so widely seen in aquatic animals but not in land animals? Because there is a difference of one group of land animals that have gills is the isopods. Isopods means pill bugs and soap bugs. How can those organisms survive on land with gills? So this is the observe the human respiratory systems. The human respiratory system. See, this is observe the diagram. Uh, Naresh, Navya, hello, Navya. వినిపిస్తుందమ్మా? ఆర్ యు ఆడిబుల్? నవ్య, హలో.
ఎస్ సార్.
యా 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 ఈ స్క్రీన్ కనిపిస్తుందమ్మా?
కనిపిస్తుంది సార్.
రైట్ రైట్ రైట్. ఓకే. సో దిస్ is the human respiratory systems. The see observe this diagram purely. The parts of the respiratory systems including of trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli. So this is the complete structures to nozzle to lungs. The lungs dissection of anatomy parts. See, moving of air into guts. The moving in air in guts like that. This is the air first star diagram is the air move in. Second diagram air moves outside. So what is the observation to two diagrams? The diagrams is expansive and relaxive mode. So this first diagram is contract to downward. The contracts are downwards. The second diagram is relax upward. Relax upward. This is the first level in inhalation. The second one exhalations. It is the during the respiration, inspiration, inhalation, the diagram and instolic muscles are contract. Then during the exhalation, those muscles relax the diaphragm down upwards. So this is the mechanism of moving an air and receiving of oxygen and releasing of carbon dioxide mechanism depend by the diaphragm movements and contractive skills. The alveoli. This is the human or mammals oxygen this particular areas of connecting the alveoli are most thin walled pockets with are the site of gas exchanges. The mammals mostly the mammalians are gas exchanges to alveoli, the parts of alveoli. So very important the parts of alveoli, the gas exchanges like that releasing the carbon oxygen delivered to the carbon dioxide. A slightly the slightly only suppuration prevents the alveolar walls from collapsing the sticking together. See this observe the bronchial and the branches pulmonary artery, antrioles, smooth muscles, and branches pulmonary vein, lymphatic vessels. So this is the observe the clear alveoli functions. Then the circulation the circulation of gases and exchanges. This is the inwards and outward. Oxygenated blood is color is red color. Deoxygenated blood is blue color. The blue color having the carbon dioxide. Red color having the oxygen. Because of color appear to blue and red color. Blue and red color is there. So so recall the interaction between circulation and the respiratory systems. So circulation and the respiratory systems is depends on one by one. The gases move in and out of the lungs by breathing. This is the carbon dioxide. The oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged in the lungs by diffusion. The diffusion mechanisms means is the compressive of muscles and like that the gases are exchanged in this particular movement. Then gas are dissolved in the blood or transported by the circulatory systems. It is the circulatory system reach to the internal organelles and reach the target places. So the blood is mainly transported, gases transported. It is one of the gases transported vehicle. So next one, this one, next one, fourth one. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged in the tissues by diffusion. Tissues by the diffusion. This is the right atrium and the right ventricles and the left atrium, the left ventricles. This is the upon the places of last alveoli air sacs. It is means of air sacs. So the gases exchanges at the lungs and the body cell moves oxygen into cells and carbon dioxide outside. So this is the what happens when you breathe in. So what happens when you breathe in? What happens when you breathe in? So very the breathe in depends by the diaphragm contracts. Very important. The inspiration exhalations are depends by the diaphragm contracts. The rib muscles relax. Air leaves the alveoli. Air moves between the chest wall and the lungs. This is the correct answer is the what happens when you breathe in. It is the happens to the diaphragm contracts or happens receiving the oxygen. So next one, the premature infants sometimes die of lung collapses and other lung problems. What might permisses to be missing? Who who would you this be reminded? So in the alveolus, this is the structure of tissue or TS structure in alveolus. The respiratory surface is made of the alveoli and capillary walls. So this is the capillary walls. So this is the oxygen diffusion into the red blood cells and carbon dioxide diffusion into the alveolus. So this is always this is the enter to the internal organs and internal organs receive the carbon dioxide in the outside. So to the pulmonary vein from the pulmonary artery. So the walls of the capillaries and the alveoli may share the same membrane, but is the structure is different, but membrane is same. The next one, gas exchanges. How to exchange the cells or internal cells and surface cells like that. Air entering the lungs contains more oxygen and less carbon dioxide than the blood that flows in the pulmonary capillaries. Oil surfactant and collagen fibers and capillary endothelial cells. See this one outside of the capillary endothelial cells. It is the collagen fibers like that muscles. So oil surface on the upper layer. The alveolar epithelial cell is the internal organs and air alveolus receiving the receiving the oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide. How do these differences in contraction affect gas exchanges? Gas exchanges. See, See, transport. The transport of oxygen diffusion through lung capillary wall, and the second is oxygen is carried to tissues bound to hemoglobin because called as the hemoglobin is a chemical bonding of five chemical iron heme. So because this is a carried to tissues and carried to tissues bound to the hemoglobin. The next one, oxygen diffuses through tissue capillary walls. The hemoglobin binds to oxygen that diffuses into the bloodstream. The next one, the objective is what are some advantages to using hemoglobin to transportation oxygen. So Next one, the carbon dioxide transportation. See, the carbon dioxide transportation, carbon dioxide transportation. See, same observe to the that previous diagram and this one. The transport of carbon dioxide, lung side and body cell side. The first one, the carbon dioxide diffusion through lung capillary walls. Carbon dioxide is carried to lungs. Oxygen carried to hemoglobin. Carbon dioxide diffused through tissues, capillary walls. So this is the difference between oxygen and carbon dioxide transportation. Carbon dioxide can dissolve in plasma and about to 70% of 70% to 70% forms bicarbonate ions. Some carbon dioxide can bind to hemoglobin per transportation. What is at the cells? The cells are functionally cells use of oxygen quickly for cellular respiration. What does what does this do not the diffusion gradient? How does the help cells take off oxygen? Cells create carbon dioxide during cellular respiration, so carbon dioxide levels in the cell are higher than in the blood coming to them. How does this help cells get rid of oxygen? The completely the carbon dioxide and oxygen, the transportation depend by mainly diffusion and the diaphragm contractions. See, diffusion of oxygen from lungs to blood is rapid because active transport moves oxygen and hemoglobin takes upon oxygen keeping plasma and blood plasma is oxygen rich is a 33% equal percent ratio. The first one 33% of active transport moves oxygen and second percentage hemoglobin takes upon oxygen keeping plasma 33% and third one blood plasma is oxygen rich at 33 percentage. Then next one, most the most of the oxygen blood, where is the most oxygen? The bound to the hemoglobin. The in the white cells 25% bound in hemoglobin and combined with carbon to take carbon dioxide 24% dissolved in the plasma 25% is the mainly bound in hemoglobin. The most of the oxygen in the blood, it is the name of the bound to the hemoglobin. The next one, effect effect of smoking, the very dangerous injurious to lungs. Inhaled smokes contains carbon dioxide which affects the carbon dioxide diffusion gradient. The carcinogenic chemicals that can trigger tumors. This is the structure of tumors. This is the lung because who is taken the smoking and the smoking diffusion of gradient at the same of carcinogenic chemicals are forming the tumor cells. It is the tumor cells convert to the cancer. So toxic toxin nicotine which paralyze cilia that normally clean the lungs. So clean the lungs. So this is a emphysema. Emphysema is a besides cancer, smoking can also lead to em- emphysema. Alveoli become dry and brittle and eventual repeater. No, this is the two images. See, observe the two images. It is the first one non-smoker, second one smokers. All type of smoke, not just tobacco, can causes cancer and emphysema. So the both active and passive smoking, second hand smoke can lead it to lung problems. So very dangerous to the emphysema. Then cystic fibrosis. This is the one type of disease. Disease, disease. Cystic fibrosis is one of the most common inherited disorders uh, in the Cau- Caucasian population in the US, mainly US. The CF cystic fibrosis is caused by mutation of a single gene, the CFTR gene, which controls salt balance in the lungs. So this is the very important to damage to the particular areas. So the cystic fibrosis, a normal CFTR protein, the regulating the most of the chloride ions across the cell membranes of lung cells. Next object is cystic fibrosis. If the interior of cell is too salty, water is drawn from lung muscle mucus of osmosis, causing the mucus to become thick and sticky. So this is the carbohydrate, the cells. This is the cell membrane, and this is the adenyl triphosphate ATP. This is the also ATP in right side and left side. This is the force. This is the four hole is there. The chloride transport in the floors and phosphate cytoplasm and regulator domain. The site of common phenylene detection a nucleotide binding domains. So that's on the cystic fibrosis mainly. At this point, there is no cure for cystic fibrosis. Through there are therapies that have extend the lives of cystic fibrosis patients, including lung transplantation. So because very dangerous to the cystic fibrosis, it is not curing of disease to remove the lungs. Gene therapy may one day insert good CFTR genes into lung cells to make them operate normally. So two lives and a truth. Which one is the true? Nicotine is one of the most potent neurotoxins is earth. So very important of the cigarette smoke causes colds because it kills bacteria in the lungs. Yes, there is the 33 percentage. Then third one, passive smoking is less harmful than regular smoking. This is the 33 percentage. So next one, the when people quit smoking of the lungs are not damaged, they can often clean themselves because the cilia are no longer paralyzed. People with cystic fibrosis have trouble with the lung infections because their lung because is thick and sticky. What is the role do cilia and mucus play in lung health? So this is the one of the our syllabus important of respiratory system. See our see one slide is there. Our See this one respiratory systems. One of the human being likely the human being respiratory systems are very important. So the respiratory system exchanges of gases in the completely functions to lungs. Lungs working depend mechanism on diaphragm contractions. The what is the human respirations? The human respiration systems allows one to obtain oxygen, eliminate carbon dioxide. It's a very important of small definition. The respiratory systems allows enter the oxygen and exit carbon dioxide. The allows one to obtain oxygen, eliminate carbon dioxide. The breathing consists of two passes inspirations and expirations. Inspirations is called as the process of taking in air. Expirations the process of bowling of bowling out air. So the human respiratory system, lower respiration tracker tract and upper respiration tract. So this is a noise passageway for air, mouth and epiglottis. So the nose, the passes way for air, the mouth passes way for food and air, and epiglottis, the curves larynx during the swallowing. So this is the epiglottis functions. Then nasal cavity filters, warms and moistens air. The pharynx, throat, the common passageway for air, food and liquid. Then voice box, lyrics, voice box, production of sound, the vocal sounds. The next one, this is the complete upper respiration tract labelings. Then lower respiration tract labelings. This is the pulmonary members, pulmonary mem- pulmonary membranes. The cover the lungs and line in chest cavity. Though this is the trachea, windpipe, the main airway. This is the main airway. The next one labeling is lung. Origin of gases exchanges. It is the place of alveoli. It is the place of alveoli. Next one, bronchi, branching airways. Then introsectal muscles moves ribs during the respiration. Moves ribs during the respiration. This is the alveoli air sacs for gas exchanges. This particular places. This is the ribs, right lung and left lung, diaphragm, skeletal muscles of respiration. Skeletal muscles of respiration. So see, uh, organs in the respiratory systems, the structure and functions. Nozzle, nasal cavity, nose and nasal cavity, warm, moist, dense, and filters air as it is the inhaled. Throat and pharynx. The passageway for air leads to trachea. Larynx, the voice box where vocal cords are located, and trachea, windpipe, that keeps the windpipe open. Trachea is lined with fine airs called cilia, which filter air before it reaches the lungs. Then bronchi, the two branches at the end of the trachea each leads to a lung. The bronchochial, a network of smaller branches leading from the branch into the lung tissues and ultimately to hair sacs. Alveoli, the functional respiratory units in the lung where gases are exchanged. So observe the components to the upper respiratory tract. The sinus, nasal cavity, external nose and nostril, tongue, larynx, esophagus, trachea. Sinus, opening of the is- Estonian tube, pharynx, glottis, and epiglottis. Glottis and epiglottis. See, upper respiratory tract functions. The upper respiratory tract functions. The passageway for respiration. The respirator for smell filters incoming air to filter large foreign materials. Then moistens and warms incoming air, resorting chambers for the voice. So those are upper respiratory factors are functionally. This is the functions. See the components of the lower respiratory tract. The lower respiratory tract is the structure of lungs, right and left to so larynx, trachea, left to branches, right branches, and clusters of alveoli branches. So this is the very important of oxygen and carbon dioxide transportation. This is the particular area of alveoli. Human beings and mammalians, the gases exchanges to that particular places. So So this is the next one. Uh, Lower respiratory tract. Lower respiratory tract. The functions. Which type of function? Which labeling are lower functions? See, lyrics. The maintenance on open airway routes, food and air appropriately assistance in the sound production. Lyrics. The very important lyrics produce the sounds. And trachea. Transports of air and to from lungs. Transport transports air to lung, air to and from lungs. Bronchi branches into lungs. Lungs transport air to alveoli for gas exchanges. So the gas exchanges between the blood and alveoli. See this observation of diagram. The blood flow. Small pulmonary artery, small pulmonary vein, a branches. So this is the blood flow pulmonary arterioles. The this is the blood. Red blood is called as having the oxygen. Blue blood having the contamination of carbon dioxide. So the color appear to the two colors between two differences to oxygen and carbon dioxide. Then next one, respiratory cycle. So very clear examples of this diagram. Very important. No air movement. The first one, the air no air movement. This is a natural, no air movement, relaxed state. Then air flows. In this is the airflow. Inspiration. The ribs move upward, air flows. The activity depends on ribs move upward and outward due to muscles contraction, like that to diaphragm contractions. The lung volume increases, causing air pressure to all. The next one, third one, diaphragm contracts and platens moving downward. Platens are moving downwards. So this is the inspiration. The next one, see, observe the third one, air flows outside. The ribs return to resting position. Ribs out to resting position, lung volume decreases, causing air pressure to rise. The diaphragm relaxes. So this is the three diagrams are very important. The observe to respiratory cycle system. Then next one, the measurement of lung capacity. There's a normal person and person with emphysema. So this is the ratio of lung volume. So 3000, for example, time beings, residual volume and expiratory reserve, tidal volume and inspiration reserve. It is the vital capacity. The next one, malfunctions of disease of the respiratory system, asthma, severe allergic reaction characterized by the contraction of bronchioles, bronchitis, inflammation of the lung of bronchioles, emphysema, conduction the which is the alveoli, detroit, causing the lungs to lose their elasticity. Pneumonia, this is the pneumonia condition with the alveoli become filled with fluid, preventing the exchange of gases. Lung cancer, irregular and uncontrolled growth of tumors, tumors in the lung tissue, tumors. So this is the four respiration process in mammalians or human beings. The breathing, ventilation, air in, air into the air and into and out of lungs. External respiration, gases exchanges between hair and blood. The internal respirations, gases exchanges, to external reaches to the internal reaches. So next one, the cellular respiration, oxygen used to produce ATP, carbon dioxide and wastes. The respiration. Oxygen used to produce ATP, carbon dioxide and carbon dioxide as waste. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. So this is the human being of respiratory systems, respiratory system, respiratory system. So this is the particular ratio to our particular information to this is one. So this is a complete our respiration. To next class Saturday, I will explain the Bohr effect and tidal effect to the gases to removal of exchanges. So next two classes of just wait. Next topic chloride shift and Bohr effects and regulation, respiration, nerves and chemical. So three chapters here. Next class I will explain the two classes like that. Bohr effects, oxygen, uh, discussion and curves, Bohr effects, and transportation of carbon dioxide and chloride shift and regulation respiration of nerves and chemicals which is nerves are like that PNS, CNS and peripheral nervous system, central nervous system and inertial nervous systems. So which is nerves are controlled by the respiration factors are human being. Tomorrow next classes I will explain this. Hello, hello, Navya, Navya, Pravalika,
ఎస్ సార్
వినిపిస్తుందమ్మా?
వినిపిస్తుంది సార్.
ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ మనం చెప్పేసుకుందాం. ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయి ఇప్పుడు చెప్పిన క్లాస్లో?
లేవు సార్.
లేవా? ఓకే, నిన్న క్లాస్ విన్నావా నువ్వు ప్రవళిక?
విన్నా సార్.
ఫస్ట్ క్లాసా?
నిన్న విన్నా.
విన్నారా? ఓకే ఓకే. అంటే నిన్న నీ పేరు నోట్ చేసుకోలేదు.
అవునా సార్? నిన్న వచ్చిండే సార్, క్లాస్ కి అటెండ్ అయినా.
అవునా? సరే సరే సరే, ఒకసారి ఫోటో తీసుకుంటా. ప్రవళిక, నవ్య. ఇంకా నవ్య, శోభ. శోభ,
ఎస్ సార్.
వినిపించిందమ్మా? క్లాస్ అర్థమైందా?
అర్థమైంది సార్.
ఒకసారి నిన్న క్లాస్ ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ ఇది మీకు?
నిన్న సార్, నిన్న కూడా వచ్చాను సార్.
అవునా? సో ఒకసారి కంపెనీ వీడియో ఆన్ చేయండి మీరు ఇద్దరు.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే,
గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ సార్.
గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్, గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్. అండ్ ప్రవళిక?
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్, గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్. ఓకే, మీకు క్లాసెస్ అర్థమవుతున్నాయి కదా?
అర్థమవుతున్నాయి సార్.
సరే సరే, టుమారో మన క్లాసెస్ ఏమంటే అది క్లోరైడ్ షిఫ్ట్, గ్యాసెస్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ చెప్పుకుందాం. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే సార్.
రైట్ అమ్మా, థ్యాంక్ యూ ఎవ్రీవన్.
మళ్ళీ సాటర్డేనా సార్?
అమ్మా
మళ్ళీ సాటర్డే క్లాస్ ఉంటుందా సార్? రేపు ఉందా క్లాస్?
సాటర్డే ఉంటుంది. సాటర్డే సండే సేమ్, సాటర్డే సండే ఉంటుంది.
ఓకే సార్.
మీకు టైం టేబుల్ షెడ్యూల్ మీకు ఉంటుందమ్మా, పర్సనల్గా ఉంటుంది. మీరు ఒకసారి క్రాస్ చెక్ చేసుకోండి.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్.
రైట్ అమ్మా,
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.